Welcome back, everyone. It's been a while since we've made a video, so let's get into some news on NIO. This is for the NIO March delivery, first quarter 2025 delivery updates. Let's have a look at this. So let's go straight through the numbers, right? Over 15,039 vehicles were delivered in March 25, increasing by 26%. And that's 42,094 vehicles were delivered in 3 months, ended March 25, increasing by 40% year over year. Cumulative delivery have reached over 658 as of March 31st, 2025. That's incredible. NIO's first quarter delivery is up 40% compared to last year's. That's a massive difference, and we want to understand why. Because remember, I was talking about NIO entirely last year, and even at the start of the year, I was explaining, just how impressive it is that NIO is having a slow start to the season. But I promise you, as the year continues, they're going to ramp up deliveries, and it's going to be insane. And the way we ended last year was insane. It was very, very impressive what NIO managed to accomplish. And they're already off to a strong start this year by over 40% increase in vehicle delivery. That is massive. What is that? An extra 10, 12,000 vehicles delivered, perhaps even more, perhaps 15,000. That's remarkable. I have to give it to NIO. Now, NIO started deliveries of the flagship NIO ET9, the smart electric executive flagship, in late March 2025 as the epitome of NIO's full-stack technology and industry-leading innovations. The ET9s sets a new benchmark for executive smart electric vehicles designed to meet user expectations for innovation and technology in an executive flagship. The ET9 redefines the standards for executive travel with an unparalleled flagship experience. As you can see, this car is clearly a competitor to the likes of a, BMW, 7 Series, a Mercedes S-Class. Basically, chauffeur cars. If you ever been to London, you ever been to Paris, you notice that there's some chauffeur cars that are just way more popular than any other car. And that tend to be the case for Mercedes. Mercedes promote their car for being, you want someone to drive you. You're being driven. You're in the back. You're dealing with meetings. You're having calls. You're handling business. Someone's up front driving, and the drive is smooth. That's what Mercedes promotes. What BMW tends to promote is cars that you want to drive. And Audi tends to promote something in between. Well, mostly cars that you want to drive. Audi doesn't really do the chauffeuring thing too much. Mercedes kind of dominates that market. And there's BMW with a small percentage of the market and Audi with an even smaller percentage of the market. But Mercedes is the one who dominates the chauffeur car business, let's be honest. And it's very difficult to challenge them. Now, I've always believed that with the ET9, this is what NIO is attempting to do. They want to challenge the Mercedes S-Class. So this is what the car actually looks like. It's a beautiful car. It is luxurious at the most. It is thrilling. There goes one of my videos. It's nice, isn't it? You type in, NIO name and you will most likely run into one of my videos. But this car, it is just insane. And this is what NIO wants to promote for these cars. It's a car that you want to be driven in. You don't want to do the driving. No. Let someone else do the driving. You want to experience it. You want to enjoy it. You just want to chill and relax and sit back. That is a similar case to the well-renowned Mercedes S-Class. The S-Class, the Mercedes S-Class, Maybach, these are the cars that are chauffeur cars. Mostly the S-Class because, the Maybach is just crazy money. While the S-Class, even like an S500, it's what the top guys, the CEOs, the executives, the rich business people, this is what they get driven around in. And it's just the perfect car for chauffeuring. And like I said, the Mercedes does such a good job with luxury because that's what Mercedes does. They do luxury and they do it way better than BMW and Audi. Let's be honest. What Mercedes gives you is luxury. I've always said that. What BMW gives you is sportiness. What Audi gives you is class. What Audi gives you is elegance. Audi tends to blend a little bit of luxury with a little bit of sportiness, but they tend to be more on the sporty side. but their design is very conservative, very simplistic, while Mercedes will go over the top, but in a good way. I mean, just look at that dashboard. That is clearly a hint at a stitched suit. And damn, if you do wear a stitched suit, why wouldn't you want your car to have some sort of semblance to that? I mean, god damn, this is the kind of thing that Mercedes does think about that you just can't fathom. Yeah, no one does luxury like Mercedes. They take it to another level. However, their operating system for their cars computers, absolutely terrible. I mean, it is not impressive. It is far from it. But this is where NIO will win out. NIO will do well in this area. I do believe that. It's not an easy area to challenge in, but I do believe this area has a lot of potential. But this is a Mercedes. How are you gonna beat that? That's the Mercedes-Benz S-Class 500. How are you gonna beat that? That's not even the Maybach. How are you gonna beat that interior? That oh my goodness. I mean, you can come close. You can come close, but how the hell are you going to beat that? I mean, that's just unreal level of luxury. I would understand why I'd want to be driven in that car. I wouldn't want to drive that car. I'd want to be driven in it. And it's rare for me to say, I don't want to drive the car. I want to be driven in it. That's what Mercedes does to you, you know? They make you want to be driven instead of you doing the driving. It's an executive car. That's what they do, and that's what NIO's saying so obvious. They want to build this car as an executive car. It's a chauffeur car. But the market is poised for competitiveness. The market is poised. The market is ready for expansion and for competition. You know, this is what NIO looked like last year in the first quarter, monthly deliveries compared to this year. What we've seen with NIO is that they've consistently been above 13,000 deliveries in every month in this year thus far. That's bloody well impressive. They're already at 15,000 deliveries in March. Very, very impressive. We can only expect this number to grow, you know, as the year continues. I will always reiterate, remember now, this is what NIO did last year in 2024. This is what they did. They basically, from around May, they managed to maintain above 20,000 deliveries on a monthly basis for the entire year. This is all NIO vehicles. Eventually, Onvo started delivering, so that took up some of these spots. But NIO vehicles, the NIO brand, yeah, that's the level that they were on. So, can we expect this level of dominance for this year? If anything, I expect more. I expect NIO to accomplish over 30,000 deliveries and maintain it a lot sooner than December this year. I expect it to be around September or October, and they will maintain it for the rest of the year. Oh, yeah, they're going to. They're stepping it up, and we see this every year. They look to improve upon what they are doing already. I remember now, in 2024, they delivered over 200,000 vehicles, not just NIO, but also Envo vehicles. And now that they've got Firefly vehicles, I believe those are coming to delivery soon. Yeah, that's going to increase our numbers even more. So expect Envo vehicles to be delivering even more. Expect Fireflies to be delivering even more. I mean, it's just really wonderful to see that NIO's a three-car company. Sorry, not three-car company, a three-car brand company. So they have three different brand of cars. That's incredible. And NIO has an abundance of cars. They have so many different cars, you know, to offer to so many different people in so many different categories. And we've seen multiple times that what tends to be their most popular vehicles is these SUVs. Not just for NIO, but that's a common trend that's happening in the world at the moment. People love SUVs, and it's not changing anytime soon. Now listen, this is where we'll end this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Remember now to leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you in our next video, okay? Peace.